I'm Eleanor O'Rourke, and this is a short video to introduce you to my take on creativity, and more importantly, what to do when you get a creative block. The first thing that I want to say is that creativity isn't a thing, it's an energy. We'd much prefer it if it was a thing, because we get things, we buy things, we can control things. But creativity is an energy, and energy is something that we have to develop a relationship with. Unfortunately, as statistics show, we're not so brilliant at relationships, mainly because we can't control them. So first, a bit about my story and how I came to be here. Like many people, I fell in love with the idea of a creative life. But then I got scared by a thought. What if you're not good enough? Instead of thinking, well, you're a kid, of course you're not good enough yet, I gave up on my creativity and became mesmerized by the creativity in others. I joined the music business, and for much of the 70s and 80s I worked with rock and roll bands. I was watching the creatives. Not so cute. Then I got a proper job. The next era of my life, married to the mob, was one that involved a triple pull of husband, career and children. Now I had a million reasons not to be creative. I recognized that I had to step up, so I stopped watching the creativity and I started reading about it. I convinced myself that once I'd finished reading the books, I'd start a relationship with my own creativity. But there was an avalanche of books, and pretty soon I found myself single-handedly propping up the self-help publishing industry. It had to stop. I couldn't hide any longer. And so I started my journey, and this is what I found on the way. There are three big fields of energy, and when these are out of balance, a Bermuda Triangle forms in which creativity gets completely lost. I've called these three energy fields the domain of the blindingly obvious, the domain of self-doubt, and the domain of mastery. Most of us start out here in the left brain. There are various traps here, but the main thing that we contend with is a lack of energy. We don't know what we want to create. We're confused, we're waiting for a really good idea. We want to wake up in the morning with inspiration and passion about something. Lacking passion, we can sometimes become cynical. We can start picking at the creativity of others, particularly if we think they don't deserve success. We can focus on the lack of resources or the state of the market. If we're really, really optimistic, we can start reading or we can go to workshops, but pretty soon we get disappointed because all of these exercises don't produce the required miracle. That's why I called it the domain of the blindingly obvious. In terms of a relationship, we're trying to flirt from behind closed doors while wearing a burqa. The next domain is the domain of self-doubt. Now we're well and truly in a relationship. In fact, we're in dating hell. We have good days and bad days. When we're in the flow, it feels fantastic and we feel the love. But then the muse disappears and we're left in despair. This can have all sorts of negative consequences. We can become paralyzed by the fear of humiliation. We can lapse into the archetype of the victim, I'm rubbish, or the damsel, why doesn't a chivalrous agent come and rescue me? We can develop all sorts of addictions, tequila, Russian novels, sad songs, chocolate cake. We even become fascinated by the characters on daytime television, though we're not listening to them, because we're mainly just listening to all those voices in our head. This is what happens in the portal to the right brain. Dating is hardcore. After a little bit of time in the dating game, we can wind up here in the domain of mastery, dancing with the devil in a fabulous blend of cutting-edge choreography and effortless grace, a true merger of left brain and right brain in perfect synergy. It's a different kind of energy. It's not the quick hit of an adrenaline-fueled burst of creativity followed by the doldrums. This is a true marriage of masculine and feminine energies. And like any marriage, it does have some huge traps, but with the right tools, we can easily overcome them. When we surrender into this while managing the dynamic tension between this and this, it's the ultimate high. It's the experience of our creative spirit in full flight. Knowing we've got all the skills and tools to constantly recalibrate all the ebbs and flows of energy. We haven't got time to go into all the characteristics of the tools here, or the 6 components of each of the domains over here, but if you're interested in taking this further, there are a few options. First, You can read about my journey through all this in the book 40 Days, 40 Nights, which adds a little bit of context to the framework and hopefully injects a little bit of humour for on the way. You can dive right into the course, or you can contact me. All the links, all the details are on the links attached.